Hello and welcome to the first in a series that's going to last this whole month. It's spooky, scary October month, and I'm going to be doing a series of videos that are spooky, scary, like my spooky, scary costume. Rawr. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a whole month of spooky, scary stuff that links with comic books, movies, TV shows, stuff to do with the comic book realm, geek culture, all that jazz. Most of the month's just going to be based around Ghost Rider, because I fucking love Ghost Rider. But it's gonna be horror month on the Luke Does Stuff channel. Hey, and first up that's up on the chopping block, the agenda, is Castlevania on Netflix. Castlevania is near perfect, in my opinion. It is one of, if not the best video game adaptations into a movie or TV series that I've ever seen. I've watched others and they've bared from hilariously cheesy to just boring and crap. And this is probably the first one that's not Wreck-It Ralph. But even then, Wreck-It Ralph isn't a video game adaptation. It's a movie that is based around the world of video games, that uses video game characters but isn't based off of a single video game. Ironically, Wreck-It Ralph had a terrible game tie-in, like most movies, but Castlevania is one that gets it right. And it's one that gets it right throughout 12 episodes, all of them perfect. I'm going to start off with the gripes, the things that I didn't quite like. First off is the fact that the first season was only 4 episodes, and I feel like it could have benefited from being a bit longer. Second gripe, Dracula is defeated in the second season when there's obviously more stuff coming. And it's shown that definitively he is dead. So if he comes back, I feel like that's going to be a bit of a cop-out. But I also feel like, where can you go when you beat the game's first boss? And he's the game's last boss in most of the games is your first monster that you defeat. And the fact that they've done Dracula so well, if they do have a bigger bad in seasons to come, where do you go from Dracula? And B, how do you make someone better than Dracula? Because Dracula's been built up so well, and there's a lot of emotion behind it, and when that fight happens, you feel every blow because you have grown to care about all of the characters that are involved in the conflict. And I feel like they won't really strike that lightning in a bottle again, or if they do, it's going to be very difficult to do it. And the last point that I didn't really like links into that. It's the fact that Dracula and vampires are the only monsters that are shown. There's a Cyclops in one of the episodes, but he's not really a horror monster, is he? He's more like Greek mythology. And I would have liked to see maybe Medusa pop up at one point. I would have liked to see like a werewolf, a mummy, Frankenstein, something like that. I feel like having just vampires in something when you're drawing inspiration from something like Castlevania, you do kind of need to put in those other horror monsters in there as well. That's all of the stuff that I kind of had a not a problem with, but the only flaws that I could find in the series. Everything else, pacing, the storytelling, dialogue, everything that isn't to do with my little nitpicks are everything's amazing in this season. The animation is fucking beautiful. I spread some clips in like throughout the video, so you're going to see just how beautiful the animation is. If you haven't seen the show already, if you haven't, I implore you to go watch it. It's 12 episodes on Netflix. It's honestly not that big of a deal. Each episode is half an hour, so you can binge it in an afternoon. It's really damn good. The first episode sets up Dracula, and it sets up his ambitions, his goals, why he is evil, and it is a very relatable thing. His wife was murdered because people thought she was a witch, so of course he's going to want to kill people because, you know, they were idiots and thought his wife was a witch. You know, it's that time in history where you wish you could go back and kill the people that were burning these women because they thought they were witches. But at the time, they're just uneducated, or they didn't know better, or they saw these things and they thought it's obviously the work of Satan because they didn't understand, and people fear what they don't understand. Unfortunately, Dracula didn't feel this way, and he thought, they killed my wife. I'm going to blow them all up. I'm going to send my hordes and armies, and we're going to basically wipe out humanity. It's mass genocide. And in comes Trevor Belmont, the drunk, fucking, essentially useless outcast of the Belmont family, who is also a secret badass, but doesn't want to be a badass, and he doesn't want to save the world. But unfortunately, the town that he's residing in gets attacked by these hordes. He has to pick up the belt whip, and he needs to go on his merry way and kill all these people. In this time, he meets up with a actual sorceress, and you know, they team up, and it's not really like shown if they have a romantic relationship, but it heavily implies that. But I don't know. I have no idea what the showrunners are actually trying with that. Their relationship seems very weird. It seems very like they do have this good chemistry, but they're not quite going to, you know, have a relationship yet. And then after they save this town, they go into this cave and they find the son of Dracula, Alucard. Trevor and Alucard have a fight. They come to a mutual understanding. Look, we have to team up to take down Dracula. And so they go to the Belmont Trove, the Belmont Library, and they try and find like this spell that can move Dracula's castle and plonk it right on top of the Belmont Trove. Meanwhile, Dracula has enlisted two humans that are Forge Masters that can basically reanimate the dead, and they have to work on creating an army for Dracula. Within this, we have like We have the inner politics of the vampire community, the ones that don't trust Dracula, the ones that want to overthrow Dracula, the ones that are completely with Dracula all the way, and the ones that serve their own means. One such is Carnilla, who ends up befriending and allying herself with one of the humans, who ends up kind of, getting infatuated with her, and then she turncoats him and ends up putting a collar on him, and he becomes her slave for the foreseeable future. The other human is in the final battle when the big fight happens. He gets drafted into the desert because Dracula has this big mirror thing which essentially works like how sling rings work in Doctor Strange, where you open a portal and walk through it in that place. Essentially works like that, but here it's different, because the mirror it can basically come apart whenever you want it to, and can come together whenever you want it to, and only vampires can use it. So Dracula creates this portal, throws this human through, because he wants to protect the human, because for reasons that I can't really go into, because that would mean this video ends up being an hour long. I don't think you want to listen to me ramble about Castlevania for an hour. But suffice to say, he gets put into the desert and he gets attacked by this group of merchants who are basically not this group of merchants, this group of wanderers who are basically look, why are you drinking out of the water pool? You shouldn't be drinking out of the water pool. We're going to kill you, and we're pretty hungry, so we might actually eat you as well. And so he kills all of them and then reanimates them, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go around all of the towns, kill them, reanimate them, and I'm gonna make my own army. And then we have the big fight between Trevor, the mage, and Alucard against Dracula. And it's one of the best fights in media history ever. It's so good. The animation is amazing. Most of it is just Alucard beating on his dad, and it's so beautifully done. Because every other anime that I've seen, like One Punch Man, Attack on Titan, it does kind of turn into a slideshow when there's an action sequence. It's like, yeah, then yeah, then yeah, then yeah. But here it's like, yeah, and it flows well, and it is animated really well, and there's no overuse of CGI. I don't think there's any CGI in the second season. I think the Cyclops might be CGI. I don't remember, but the everything in the second season is completely animated, and the animation looks insane on throughout the entire season. It is completely insane. We end with an episode that leads up things to come, and what can I say that I haven't said already? Just go watch Castlevania. It's so bloody good. They managed to take a character that wasn't established in the games, make him likable. They managed to have a villain, make him likable. They managed to have sidekicks to the villain, make them likable. Sidekicks to the hero, make them likable. And they even managed to make the emo teenage angst vampire is my daddy and my dad wants to kill everyone guy likable as well. So I say that they've done really well, and the humor in the show, there is a lot of back and forth between Trevor and Alucard, and it works brilliantly. It is so good. The humor, it's actually genuinely funny. Even like Dracula gets a few laughs throughout the show. Um, it is a really well done show, and I can't wait for season 3. Hopefully it doesn't like retread the same ground. Hopefully if they do introduce new villains that are, you know, hopefully here's my hope. The Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper is bigger than Dracula. Yeah, I know they set up like this other vampire woman, Carnilla, I think her name is, to basically take up after Dracula as the next big bad. But I feel like it's going to take a couple of seasons to get to her, and we need a bit more of like time to develop her character. But we can have like the Grim Reaper appear, and he's got an army of like other like Halloween monsters, and that's the antagonist for that's the next season done. Maybe they can find a way to bring Alucard back. I don't know, because the way that they end with this season, it's just Simon and the Mage, not Simon and the Mage, Trevor and the Mage, going on like back out on adventures, and I really do like. I do hope that it's not just vampires again, because Castlevania is known for its rich use of other horror monsters as well as Dracula. But by just using Dracula and just using vampires, you're limiting yourself. So, you know, open the floodgates to new things for the next season. That's kind of all I have to say about Castlevania, both seasons 1 and 2. Go watch it on Netflix, it's amazing. And I will see you guys in the next video. Please check out my Instagram, check out my Twitter, check out my Twitch. I don't stream anything at the moment, but I will be doing soon. I will be streaming soon. And yeah, see you guys in the next video. Peace.